right, here we go. Hi, everybody. Um, very excited because this is our last basics video. So next week we're going to finally get to start getting into the more fun, actually speaking Chinese and using Chinese. So here we go. Without further ado, we've got some grammatical rules, and I finally have some good news for you, which is that the basic grammar structure of Chinese is the same as English: subject, verb, object, and the best news is you don't have to conjugate verbs like you do in pretty much any other language, which does actually help make Chinese. There's one thing about Chinese that is easier. Pronunciation is difficult, tones are difficult. You have to learn pictographs. You don't get an alphabet. But verbs don't change. So where in Spanish or French, something like that, you have to remember how to conjugate verbs for every different pronoun: I, you, he, she, we, and you have to put them even into past and future tenses. Tenses are also very easy in Chinese. They don't really happen. There are just some words that modify the verbs to let you know what time they're happening. So, verbs are easy. That's the best news I have for you about Chinese grammar. But also just the basic the basic sentence structure is the same as English: subject, verb, object. So something like Wang Peng 喜欢打球. Wang Peng likes to play ball, right? So even like the to, which we call the infinitive, we don't have that in Chinese. We just say Wang Peng like play ball. Okay? Same with, any sentence you can think of. I have a dog. It's the same. I have dog. Or my dog plays fetch. It would be my dog play fetch. Same as in English. So, first part, very simple. And once again, of course, we are in the textbook here together. We're on pages 18. It's mostly page 18. There's one sentence on page 19, and then I will skip ahead in the end to cover numbers real quick. But here we go. All right, so subject, verb, object, simple, moving on. Now, modifiers and adverbials. I put these two together because they both are a similar rule. So in Chinese, modifiers of nouns, so that would be usually adjectives, but in their case they actually have a phrase, a modifying phrase. In Chinese, modifiers of nouns go before the noun. So again, that's the same in English most of the time, where if it's just simple adjectives, we tend to put it before the noun. So like this green shirt is going to be, again, this. So this was my example, right? This 这个 green 绿色的 shirt 衬衫. All right, so this green shirt. Same word order as in English, and actually that shouldn't have a full stop because that's not a sentence. But here we go. What they've given you as an example is the shirt that my older sister bought me. So in this case, in English, we would put this modifier after the noun that it modifies, but we don't do that in Chinese. We always put the modifier before. So in this case, we have older sister give me buy shirt, right? It's a little bit caveman speak. So 姐姐给我买的衬衫 is the shirt that my older sister bought for me, is kind of how we would say that in English. But in Chinese, we just put like my sister gave me, or for me, my sister for me buy shirt. and this the is what we call a particle word, and we will get to that much later. So, 姐姐给我买的衬衫. And then the next rule, which is a similar rule, but it's about adverbials and adverbial phrases. Adverbials also go before verbs and typically follow the subject or topic of the sentence. Oh, sorry, I had one more example over here. That was a simple one instead of this long phrase. That we also have that 哪只 big black 大黑 cat 猫. So again, we put modifiers before the noun that they modify. And same for adverbial phrases. So here the adverb is yesterday. It's giving us a time phrase. We also have what we call time phrases in Chinese, and this comes in handy because we don't change verbs. We won't say tomorrow I will go to the store, but we would just say tomorrow I go. But by using tomorrow, we know that it's in the future. Same with the past. We wouldn't say I went to the store. We would say, like, we do have a word le, which is here, which is a particle word similar to de. It doesn't really have a meaning in English, but it helps us understand the sentence. We'll talk about that much later. But we could also just say yesterday see a movie. So we don't have to change the verb. So in this sentence, 王胖昨天看了一个中国电影. So here even we have a same as rule number 2 here, 中国电影. So 中国 modifies 电影. And here, yesterday modifies see, because it tells us when we saw it. So 王胖昨天看了一个中国电影. So unlike in English, adverbials in Chinese never appear at the end of a sentence. But it's not just for time phrases. Again here, so we have the subject here, and then we have the adverbial followed by the verb, followed by the object. And again, we have the adjective modifying the noun. Sounds complicated. Once you start using it, it'll make more sense. But this also applies to other adverbs like slowly. He walks slowly would be he, 他 slowly 慢慢的 walks 走路. So here we would say 他慢慢地走路, which is he slowly walks, instead of like in English where we would say he walks slowly. So just remember, modifiers like adjectives and adverbs go before the word that they modify. So those are rules number 2 and 3 that are important grammar rules. Rule number 4, and this one takes some getting used to, but it's not terribly difficult, is in general Chinese nouns do not follow numerals. There must be a measure word in between. So we don't have measure words in English, which is why, as you can see, there's no translation here. We do this sometimes. Like, for example, you would say, I have a piece of paper, or I have a glass of water. We do that sometimes for things that are either uncountable or just certain nouns we use it for. But so you would never say, like, give me a paper. You could. Some people would still understand you, but you would be more likely to say, give me a piece of paper. And that's kind of what a measure word is. It just measures what the thing is. And there are many, many measure words in Chinese. You don't need to know them all, and actually this one, this lovely one, 个, is going to be your friend, because in general, you can use 个 for anything and be understood. So, 一个人 is a, well, this literally means one, but a person, 一个人. This one, 三本书, 3 books. Okay? But if you were to say 3个数, 3个数, you would still be understood. And you would still be understood, but it would be even more incorrect and sound even more awkward if you just said 3shu. You can't really say that. So you would have to say 3个数 or 3本数. That's the most accurate way to say it. So just remember that measure words exist. We'll go into this a little bit more. On the last page, I was using shirt. I said 一件衬衫 or 这件衬衫. This 件 shirt. This 件 is the measure word for certain articles of clothing. Or cat, I used 哪只猫. 只 is a measure word for small animals. There are a ton of measure words, and you don't need to memorize them all right now. We'll get to them, and they'll become more natural. But just for now, ge is your best friend, because you can use it for just about anything. All right, moving right along to two of the more complicated grammar features. If a sentence has multiple clauses with the same subject, the subject in the ensuing clause is typically omitted. If two consecutive sentences have the same subject, the subject of the second sentence is typically represented by a pronoun. Now, of course, we do this as well in English. We wouldn't say, Maria went to the store, Maria bought a loaf of bread, Maria went home. We would start using she. Maria went to the store, she bought a loaf of bread, and she went home. So in this example sentence, we have 李优. This is a character, as you should know. 在商店 at the store. 买衣服 buy clothes, or Leo went shopping for clothes. 他, so this is the pronoun they're talking about if you have two sentences. So this full stops are big circles in Chinese. They're not little dots. So here we have two sentences back to back. They're both about 理由, so we use a pronoun 他. And here's where Chinese does get quite a bit different than English. They will often just use commas where we would normally put full stops, right? Here and here. So she bought a shirt here. Of course you would put one at the end. But where we would normally make this into separate sentences or use a conjunction like she bought a shirt and she bought a pair of pants as well. She spent $60, or she bought a shirt, she bought a pair of pants as well, and she spent $60. We would often try to put these sentences together to make them less choppy. But in Chinese, they kind of stay choppy, but they're not always different sentences. Sometimes they just have a comma if they're all about the same subject. So here we go with 她买了一件衬衫. She buy, lo, makes it past tense. She bought one shirt. 还买了一条裤子. Also buy one pants. 花了60块钱. Spend $60 money. $60. And actually, 块 is not really dollar. It's a 块 is the Chinese word for money, so it's not quite the same as dollar. Here are those measure words I was talking about, though. 一件衬衫 and 一条裤子. So 条 goes with pants, 件 goes with shirts. 条 would also go with dresses. 条 means it's like a measure word for long items of clothing, like pants or a dress. So in this case, and this will just get more natural as we practice, but basically, I mean, you know what a pronoun is, I should hope. So pronouns are easy to wrap your head around, and the idea that you can kind of put choppy sentences together without a conjunction or put choppy sentences together with just commas is pretty much what this grammar feature is. All right, last grammar feature is topic comment. So that's actually kind of small, sorry about that, but you can see it in your textbook. When the recipient of an action becomes known information to both interlocutors, so to both speakers, the recipient of the action often appears at the beginning of the sentence as the topic, and then the rest of the sentence functions as a comment. So the sentence structure becomes topic, comment. In this case, they're saying the topic is the cell phone that Dad bought or gave me, and then the comment would be I don't like it. So topic, comment. So 爸爸昨天给了我一个手机. Here's that 个, here's that measure word. 一个手机. 哪个 measure word again. 哪个手机我不喜欢. So that cell phone I don't like. In some cases, you could even omit this part and just say 爸爸昨天给了我一个手机. Yesterday, Dad gave me a phone. Don't like it. You don't have to use this. So like in English, you can see we have a comma and, right? We put things together using those conjunctions. But in Chinese, you don't. They just have a comma here to separate the topic from the comment. So just one more example is like, I bought a new coat. It's not comfortable. We could put it into two sentences, or we could say, I bought a new coat and it's not comfortable. And in Chinese, we could just say, 我买了新的外套，哪个不舒服? That, 哪个不舒服, not comfortable. 舒服. So, topic and comment. And that will become more natural as we practice it. Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead because on pages 19 and 20, there are some classroom expressions and survival phrases that I'm going to leave to you to listen to on your own. And we will get to practice them together in class. And then skipping ahead though to numerals, because I also wanted to show you that there's sign language that goes along with numbers that makes life in China quite easy. And everyone that you come across uses these and will be able to use these with you. So in English, we usually just, whoops, my hand's coming out. We would count to 5, and then we would say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So we tend to count on all 10 of our fingers, but in Chinese, they'll count to 10 on one hand, which is actually very convenient. One other thing I wanted to show you here is 0 is Ling, and they do use this circle to represent 0. They also have a character up here. This is also Ling, which means 0. But luckily we don't need to know that, how to write that one quite yet. You can just use the circle for 0. So, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the same as in English. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Some people in China will count like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, for 6, you fold your hands over, kind of like a hang loose or like a phone call. 6, 6. So this is 6. And then 7 is your thumb and 2 fingers together. 7. 8 is this, or I guess 8, like a gun. They think it's like a smile though. They're like, oh, it's a smile. 8. 8 is also a lucky number in China because it sounds like the word 发, like for getting money. So 8. 9. 9. So you make like a hook with your hand. It's like an American Sign Language X, if you know sign language at all. So 9. And then 10. 10. You cross your fingers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 九十. And that's how you count in Chinese. And you will see people use this every day. It's very common to count on your fingers and to tell people how much something costs or what something is. I almost did this to you guys in another video. I might have, but I think I retook that video. But I said something like, yeah, there are 6 rules. And people, yeah, just use this every day, all the time. So if you can learn it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There you go. So it actually says after you've memorized them, try saying your telephone number in Chinese. And that's one thing we will practice doing, is not only saying some numbers in Chinese, but seeing if we can do them on our fingers as well, because it's very helpful, very useful, and a bit of fun. So, all right, I will see you guys next time.